Okay, hello, welcome, guys. I'm going to be talking about Netflix today, and honestly, it's just a sort of little love letter to Netflix to tell them to stop. Recently, all my videos, my reviews anyway, have just been about Netflix TV shows and movies. And what am I supposed to do, right? 'Cause, they just continue to make bad shows and movies constantly. They just don't stop, and I'm getting like kind of sick of it. And it's not that all of it is bad, right? There have been some decent shows and movies, or video. Mostly, I'm going to be talking about video game adaptations. Um, but there've been some other things, right? I really like Arcane. I like All Quiet on the Western Front. I like JoJo, even though technically they didn't create JoJo. I like Alice in Borderland, which is a Netflix original. There's some other good things too in Netflix, but they've just been, it's very few and far between. Their good stuff from like all the bad stuff they've just been creating over time lately, and then they've had tons of controversy recently. I believe they're about to stop password sharing, and they raised the prices again for their subscriptions. People are mad. Honestly, that's probably a good business decision to stop password sharing, but then they raise the prices as well, so they should probably lower those prices if they're going to do that. That would be smarter to get more people to subscribe to them. I'm not a marketing genius, but from what I've been seeing on the internet, it's not. It's just my opinion. That's probably not the smartest move. Anyway, more so, I want to be talking about like maybe I want Netflix to really just stop. not not stop entirely. Stop as in like take a break, right? Take a massive break, all right? Cuz look what happened. We've had massive flop over flop of just movies and shows that people don't like on Netflix. The most recent one, obviously, Witcher Blood Origin. Now, I can go over all the problems with Witcher Blood Origin, and there are a lot, and it's understandable that people don't like that show. I think everyone's actually in agreement that The Witcher Blood Origin was a horrible decision for Netflix to make, and the writers fucked up everything. It has the entire package of just being horrible, right? Like bad characters, horrible dialogue. Oh my god, even just the disregarding all that, just the world building and the technical aspects of the show and the way it's directed and the sound design, even the costumes of the show, the sets, horrible. It's just not good. It was made way too quickly. And then the decision to just not trust Henry Cavill with your series. And people, obviously, Henry's very popular. People love Henry Cavill. I talked about it before in that other video I did, that Henry Cavill is literally the perfect person to play Geralt of Rivia. And he just left because they wouldn't listen to him. He wanted to adapt the books and the games more seriously than the writers, and then they created Blood Origin, and look what happened, right? People hate it. So obviously, there's been some things going down in Netflix that just they're having massive problems. And look at it's not even that all of their video game adaptations are that horrible. Witcher Blood Origin is probably the worst. Arcane is the best, and but they've done so much, right? Let me see the list I have. I probably missed a few. So they did Arcane, which is their holy grail of shows. It is probably the best thing on Netflix. It's an amazing show. I've talked about it before. Even just go back and watch that show, and look at like the attention to detail on like characters, the faces of these characters and the animation between like their facial expressions and the emotions they have, coupled with amazing dialogue and just the plot in general. You have and then it all culminates to an amazing series. Plus good voice dialogue, good voice acting, sorry, and a bunch of other stuff. And that series is amazing. And then they like sort of they slowed down. They stopped. Whoever like did that, they need to rehire them because if you know about Dota, the Dota series, another thing based on a game, has 2 seasons, but it has really bad voice acting. The technical aspects of the show are just not on par with anything even comparable to Arcane. It's not very good. The plot and the story are a jumbled mess, sort of. The animation is okay at best. There's some 3D models there that look janky at times, a lot of times, and it's not the best show at all. It's not very good. It's not entertaining. And then another show comparable, I would say, I just watched again. Not again, sorry, I just watched Dragon Age, another show adapted from a game. Um, Dragon Age Absolution. It has all the same problems as Dota, the series, as well as like some world building issues, like The Witcher. The characters are just plopped. We're just sort of plopped in this universe without really any know-how. And I'm not, I have no idea. I don't know anything about Dragon Age. I know more about Dota, but it's not like Dota has any like real in-game lore that you can create a story around it. Same with Arcane, because it's League of Legends. You have more wiggle room to like create a story, right? Dragon Age, you don't have that. The same with The Witcher. So obviously, people are gonna get upset about those stories if you don't follow the games, right? You don't you don't have to. It under adaptation, I'm lenient about because obviously you can't adapt everything from like a game or a book into a movie or a show. It's not possible, right? Game of Thrones did if just an example of a book. Game of Thrones does a really good job adapting the books in the first 4 seasons, right? And then when the books taper off, they start doing a bad job adapting, the story, and it turns its own thing, and then it just, crumbled into oblivion, right? That's just one example. These shows, so like The Witcher or Dragon Age, they have that problem where they don't have a lot of leniency of adaptation wise because there is a story. There's an actual linear story in those games, and I think The Witcher book, is slightly different from the game though. So in that case, it's a case on case basis, right? Because you can pick and choose what you want to adapt and what's good for your story. But there's a lot. If you get my point, there's a lot less leniency, and people fans get upset. Me in particular, I understand when like during an adaptation you have to make changes because you just can't adapt everything. As long as you get the characters right and the main story beats right, people are fine usually. And in the tech, but then you have to couple it with the good writing and the technical aspects of the show, like the direction, the sets, whatever you're gonna do in that case. It could be an animation, it could be live action, you know and the Netflix has been like wishy-washy about that because they've had animation and live action adaptations about everything. I could go on about Alice in Borderland. I won't though. I did see that, by the way. So if you've watched, I would recommend Alice in Borderland. It's really, the first season is much better than the second season, absolutely. But they have all the same story beats with some. They have a lot of changes actually in the second season, but it's okay for what it is. I would say it's much better than what happened with Witcher Blood Origin. That's my personal view. I don't want to explain the intricacies of Alice in Borderlands manga. That would take way too long because there's a lot of shit going on there. But if you get my point, for adaptation wise, I'm okay with changing things. I assume you probably are too if you're listening. There's an acceptable point. You're like, okay, you can change this thing, you can change this thing. Maybe it's aggravating to you, maybe it's frustrating. As long as like the dialogue's good and the characters are practically the same, maybe with a few minor changes, you don't mind too much. Maybe that character isn't too important to the story, so you don't mind. But keep this character exactly what it was from the book. Do that, and we can all have a happy show that we all like, and it's entertaining to everyone, right? But Netflix just keep making these shows that people don't like, and I'm seeing a lot of video game adaptations that are just sort of butchering the source material they're made from. It's and they did Uncharted. Uncharted's on there, but I don't think they created Uncharted with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg's in that one. But I know it's on Netflix. So maybe 20th Century Fox made that. I don't exactly remember. Maybe it's an unfounded point. And they did Sonic as well. Do we count Sonic though? Because Sonic has had numerous adaptations. All throughout its runtime since the 80s. Do we count that? Is it good? And I'm talking about Sonic Prime. I watched it. I wasn't particularly impressed, but I'm also not particularly interested in Sonic anyway. So I have really a big opinion on that. Watch it, don't watch it, doesn't really matter to me. Um, anyway, my main point is I believe Netflix, with all the controversy of Witcher Blood Origin, right? You know what's another crazy thing? People maybe or maybe not like maybe they don't remember that Netflix created another movie about The Witcher that's separate from the Witcher series, but it seems it's a prequel, The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. It's a feature-length movie, animated movie about Geralt's master, and that was received well. I watched that movie. It's a prequel, just like Blood Origin, but it's just way more interesting. It's like not 1,000 years into the past with weird world building and plots about elves and how they're basically humans. Can go over everything about Blood Origin, but that movie was the most interesting thing from The Witcher. Even more interesting than The Witcher series with Henry Cavill, honestly. If we're really honest, the Witcher series is really just the Guinevere show. Henry, Geralt doesn't even, he's a protagonist, but it's really Guinevere is the main character, honestly. The Witcher deserves its own video. I'm sorry, but but I watched that. So if you've seen, go watch that movie. It's not bad at all. It's pretty decent. Is it Arcane levels of good? I would say no. But Arcane is like the apex of the apex of the apex, right? They need the amount of production time and money they need, and writers probably to gather to create another show like that would take an unquantifiable amount of time to make that good. So that's probably why they just keep turning out these like video game adaptations without like the proper forethought of into the writing and the animation. We'll never get another Arcane like that, right? Arcane probably took like 10 years to produce. It's that good. The anime, it was a passion project. Arcane was. All these other things aren't. But just again, I saw Nightmare of the Wolf. It was a very good prequel. Not bad at all. Very decent. Better than the live action show for sure. It's just strange. Why didn't they go a prequel off of that instead of Blood Origin? And I think Netflix just been they just it's just like that view about we need to create more content, right? Because if we don't have as much content as possible to compete with these other streaming services anymore, right? People will stop subscribing to our subscription service, and if they stop subscribing, we're gonna lose money. We'll go bankrupt. Our service will die, right? So it's about just making as much content as possible, and in the short term, that's probably the best business decision. But in the long term, especially when your reputation is so like, I would say, it's messed up. Not the right word. Fuddled, flungled. All right, it says flungled as Netflix because people hate it, people love it at the same time. Something Netflix has this reputation of being not so good most of the time, right? They make decisions that most of the fans that subscribe to them don't like, and it's disheartening because I actually like Netflix's model of creating shows from anyone. You got an idea, we'll make a show about it. And but technically, the marketplace of ideas is supposed to like take those shows, and if they fail, they do something else. But it seems Netflix just keeps making the same type of bad show. It's a weird mishmash of ideas and structure that they haven't condensed the formula. They don't know what it is yet, which is a shame because you'd think they'd get it by now. After over a decade of being in service, that they would know the formula and what people would like. Apparently not. So I would like Netflix to take a break, hire writers, hire animators, hire directors, create a show where something maybe you can take a popular franchise. I don't know. I don't have a specific example of a maybe they will take on Halo. Maybe they'll get that from Hulu or Amazon actually. Maybe they could steal that. Take the time to make maybe an animated or better a live action show than Amazon did, and get the writers and the directors to they need to not like turn out content as fast in order to create time to make their shows good, right? And then when these shows are more enjoyable, people will continue to subscribe to Netflix. That's the long-term model that they probably should like take a look at. I'm sure like everybody's going crazy over there, and like the board of directors of Netflix. Oh shit, everyone hates our shows. What do we do, guys? Oh, let's just keep making the same bullshit. Hopefully that's not the case. But I hope they just stop it. Stop adapting video games for now. Find a project that you have people that are passionate about and that are smart and that are proven to be good. Maybe you can have some new people in there, get them experience, right? We all need, a first time experience. Show them the ropes. Hire people that can teach other people, and they teach other people, and then they can create this like cabal of good writers and actors and directors to do something that's really good, and people are passionate about, and people will enjoy. We want to enjoy your movies, Netflix, right? We want to enjoy your shows. We want to. It's not, you have to earn our subscription, right? I get the idea of turning out content constantly to keep up with everyone else, because we're in the age of information and people's attention spans are so fast now. They need the next thing. They need that next hit of dopamine every fucking second. But if I think it will benefit you, at least your reputation, to just take a break. Really, plot out a course where you create a show and you can take the branching paths from there, where you create other shows that are really good and people enjoy, and we can all have a great time. We can all make money, because that's the point of it, right? Just making money. I think I'm done. I hope what do you what do you think about Netflix, honestly? Do you even subscribe to them? Because I know people that just, even without sharing passwords, right, they just pirate most of the Netflix shows. I have my own Netflix account. I don't have to do that. My parents do it. I'm one of the sharing passwords guys. So maybe I probably won't be able to do that anymore. Now they're going to be forcing me. They're going to be forcing me to pirate their shows because of that, right? Maybe their decisions are slightly baffling to me, and I think they need to change the trajectory in order to continue as a company. And I'm saddened, honestly, because I like The Witcher, and The Witcher has had a horrible run on Netflix. Maybe it should have gone to Hulu or Disney or Amazon or whatever. Maybe they would have done a better job. Probably not, though, because there are tons of other bad shows on those platforms as well. And maybe we should stop adapting video games into shows and movies. It seems like there's a trend that they're just not doing good. Ever since Arcane, the Apex, everything's gone downhill, which is a shame, because I like these. I like these games. Dragon Age, I'm not too familiar with. I will be playing that on my channel probably soonish after I finish Mass Effect. I'll look forward to that in the near future or whatever. Who cares? But I guess that's it. I'm sort of done rambling, I guess. Tell me what you think about Netflix, what you want them to do as a company. How do you feel about their shows and movies? And that's it, guys. All right, have a nice day. See ya.